What is the best Italian comfort food of all time? That's right, we're talking homemade meatballs. Today we're whipping up an Italian favorite. I'm talking a labor of love that we mix up with our own two hands. Let me show you how to make meatballs that are sure to impress anyone at your dinner table. Hey friends, Vince here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be cooking up one of my favorite comfort foods. We're going to be doing homemade Italian meatballs. So for me, one thing that really sets apart a great meatball from the perfect meatball is honestly just how big it is. A lot of people like, medium or smaller size meatballs that, there's nothing wrong with that, but we're making big ones today, baby. We got big balls coming for you. So if you haven't actually made meatballs before, maybe this is your first time, the biggest first tip that I can give you is you're going to want to get an equal mix of beef, veal, and pork. You might not even be thinking that if you haven't done this before. You're thinking, oh, I just need beef. You really need a blend of those three meats. That's going to give us the right taste, the right texture, and the right consistency we're looking for. Friends, if you haven't already asked that you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I make delicious recipes just like this one every week. This is really simple prep, but there's a few things that are really going to make your meatballs stand out. And the first one being, just fresh herbs. We got some fresh basil, and then we also got some fresh Italian parsley here. So you're going to want both of these. Start off by chopping up a handful of fresh basil and fresh parsley. There's really no substitute for fresh here. Using fresh herbs here is going to give our meatballs great color and even better taste. All right, now that we got our basil and our parsley chopped on up, it's time to shred some Parmesan. I really recommend getting a block of cheese for this. Getting some solid cheese is the most important ingredient in our meatballs. Well, besides the meat. We're gonna use that same cheese grater and grate up a tablespoon or two of yellow onion. That's gonna give us some delicious flavor. All right, y'all, now that we got some fresh herbs, we got some grated cheese, we got a little bit of grated onion, we're just gonna grab a few garlic cloves. Mince up 4 or 5 cloves. Then our main prep is done. It's gonna be time for the good stuff. And obviously you can't have meatballs without some meat. So we're gonna throw in 2.5 pounds. All right, now we're gonna season our meat a little bit of salt, of course, some fresh black pepper, hint of some garlic powder. Make sure to hit it with some dried oregano. A little bit of crushed red. Don't forget a little bit of onion powder. Now we're gonna come in with our fresh garlic, our Parmesan, that minced onion, and those fresh herbs. Next, we're gonna crack open a couple of eggs. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna add a little bit of breadcrumb, but we're gonna start light because we can always add more. So we got our panko Italian style breadcrumbs. Make sure to look at your ingredient labels here. I noticed when I was picking up panko, you got panko that has a million different ingredients on the back end, and then you got some that just has a couple. So look for a little bit of a shorter ingredient list. So we're just gonna hit it with a splash, and then we're gonna start coming in with our hands. Now, this is where the labor of love comes in. You can do this without your hands. You can use something else, but it ain't gonna come out the same. You gotta work it, you gotta groove it. Another thing I like to do, I almost like to just squeeze through the meat with my hand. And by doing this, if there is a big chunk of something, whether it be garlic, herbs, cheese, whatever, you're gonna feel it. So this helps you make sure that everything is incorporated nice and smooth. All right, so now that we got our meatball mixture all grooving along, we're just gonna throw a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. So the real secret here is grab a little bowl and just put a little bit of warm water in it, and you're gonna wanna dip your hand and your fingers that you're using for the meatballs. And that is really going to give you the best result. And you're going to just start feeling it out. I like to kind of wet my hands a little bit as I'm going. And you see, for most people, this would be kind of like a standard or even large size meatball. Not in the Ferriello family, no sir. So, as you can see, we're gonna get that more up to a softball kind of size. And you can tell we got the perfect blend of everything because you see how easy these are forming. You know, it's not falling apart, but it's still soft. You know, I can tell it's still gonna be tender. And we're going for a nice softball size, just like that, folks. You just wanna work it with your hands, you know. Don't rush this, but it doesn't take too long. You know, you can bust these out pretty quickly, but it's a nice thing to do, relaxing with the family on Christmas Day, you know, birthday party, you know, any kind of special occasion. Meatballs is, I gotta tell you, meatballs is the answer, baby. All right, so now we're gonna throw these in a 400-degree oven for about 20-30 minutes, get them nice and browned up, and then I'm gonna show you what they're looking like. So we're not done here, we're actually just getting started. This just gives us that nice, beautiful color and texture that we're looking for. You know, it allows us to get that nice, crispy outside of the meatball without actually frying it. So you can fry it if you want, but it's not necessary, it's less mess, and it's gonna be just as juicy on the inside, I'll tell you that. So now that these got a beautiful brown color in the outside, we're gonna throw them into our sauce. Now, the best part about this is you can do low and slow as long as you want. If you've got an hour, then throw them in there for an hour. If you've got all day, let them chill out all day. It's just gonna marry with the flavor of the marinara and the tomato and the garlic and the herbs, and it's just gonna be that much better, baby. And these meatballs are nice and crispy on the outside and tender and delicious on the inside. They're gonna melt in your mouth like butter, baby. You see, these are gonna come right off like this, and we're just gonna drop them right into the sauce. So we're gonna wanna make sure these are submerged. We want our pot of sauce on low. We don't want these, you know, they're already most of the way cooked, but you know, if they're a little under, it's okay. But really, they're just gonna finish off in the sauce. So we wanna crank that to just a low simmer and just let those flavors build. After a couple hours of chilling out in the sauce, it's just about time for my favorite part of the day. Is that a sight or what, guys? Grab your cheese and grate it to taste right over the top. Then add just a bit of fresh basil for the perfect garnish. And that's how you make perfect homemade Italian meatballs. All right, everyone knows this is my favorite part. There's nothing that warms my heart like a good old-fashioned homemade meatball. So let's see how we did. Oh, man. You get a little extra dunk in the sauce. Oh, man. You can definitely taste the shredded onion and the cheese and the garlic. You actually get notes of every little flavor all throughout one bite, honestly. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in seeing how I like to do my marinara sauce, drop a comment down below. If there's anything else you'd love to see me make, I'd love to hear about it. And thanks again. Till next time, guys.